That's right. Had to work on something.
The only time I didn't really get into playing today.
Listen, I still have like
Oh, I'm sure I think it.
hey, Steve is so we talking to first. I'm waiting here. Oh. How about Thomas not getting cut to sleep? He gave me all wish for so dedicated. We worked very hard. I'm sitting there selling this. I got that on my wall. Yeah, you know.
I still work. I blame him. I got a feeling it's not long hair. I don't know.
I got you. Oh yeah, it's 1:30. How you doing, man? Another day. You doing good?
Yeah, it's good. Let's talk about
Work.
it. 2020.
The real stuff. Hey, how are you?
Is there some kind of people that I mean, they got 3 guys on the place right now, and they've got 4 parking places and not a place for the public. And so the 3 guys that they roll around just waiting for that minute to go. Yeah, that's on the
I thought that'd be easier changing the time. We'll explain
Today was just a
Y'all look happy? Well, look. Well, forgive me for running a little late. They had me running everywhere, but it's 2 minutes off. Well, today we've got United Healthcare doing some wonderful stuff for us. And it's just kind of a follow-up in just what I talked about a good bit last night. So I want to talk to you just a second, and then I want somebody to explain all the greatness about these bags and everything that are really neat. And I was instructed just a few minutes ago. I received a call that said, "Don't squeeze the bag." You know, I mean, Jiminy Christmas. I didn't know that I was that slow that they had to call me and tell me not to squeeze the bag, but they said, because it's liable to break and be all over your shirt and everything. I said, well, good enough. Well, we'll get into the bag in just 1 second. Let me tell you this. I said last night, in my opinion, we're either treading water or losing the battle in regard to drugs within this state. I've said it over and over and over. They will cannibalize us. They will absolutely make us hit a skid like we cannot stop. Just think what they're already doing. The cost is astronomical. Whether it be just the pain to the individuals or the pain to their loved ones, it's just off the chart. But the cost of dollars to us as a state is phenomenal. Now just think also, every day that goes by, we have bright points, whether it be Cabell County reporting, 40% decrease in overdoses, or a new found commission or committee, headed up by Marshall University that's on their way to really making some level of difference, or whether it be all the great efforts of, our DHHR and Bill Crouch and all the different things, or maybe it be a treatment facility, and all the good things that they're achieving, whether they be faith-based or not, or whether it be our Department of Education and, maybe our, VOTEC training, or the community colleges, or the 4-year schools, or the treatment facilities. Just think about it. But at the end of the day, I've not had a time at bat. I've not really had the ball, and I've asked the legislature for that. And that's what I described in Jim's dream. You see, I think at the end of the day, as much cheerleading as the governor can do, I think somebody has got to really take ownership that has the tenacity and the vision that I may very well have. Now, so basically the way I can see this working is there's different legs to the stool. And I want to try to explain this Jim's dream thing to you a little bit better. But the legs to the stool is, one is, we have a lot of efforts right now in prevention. But I don't know that we have an effort in prevention at a super early age. Well, that's why I wanted to put a few dollars aside to be able to try to achieve that if we can do that. And that's something we got to, vet out and make sure of. All I'm trying to do is put together the format of a 100,000-foot flyby, and then we'll have to make adjustments and everything else as we go, but I am confident of the format. See, the format's going to be prevention. Then the format's going to be either, treatment or the addiction, and that will be the second phase of the format. And that phase, we need to accept people for free. We need to be able to let them go into treatment for free. Now the next thing is we've then got to train these people how to do something. And I want Jim's Dream, the training component, to be available to people that don't have a drug addiction just as well. People can come to these classes that don't have anything to do with any drug problem whatsoever. But at the end of the day, in order to get that certificate, I want them all to be able to pass a drug test. Now, so that's the third thing. And the fourth thing goes back to the drug component, and that's the misdemeanor being able to get expungement of the misdemeanor if they are able to remain drug-free and graduate from treatment, graduate from some kind of level of certification, get that certification, pass a drug test, then they're expunged. Now, see, here's the problem. Today in West Virginia, we don't have a qualified workforce that can pass a drug test in lots of ways. So therefore, when people come to my office and say, well, we love West Virginia, we love the people, we love everything that's going on there, it sounds real good and everything, but we love what's going on in education, but we can't really come there because we really don't think there's any way that you're going to have a qualified workforce. Now, so we can achieve lots of different things. We can restore hope back in our people. We can absolutely, I am told from Steve Payne over and over and over that, Steve is confident that we can put in a first class training, center, basically within our vocational arm right now. And we can do that, and we can train the people through our adult classes, and we can absolutely accomplish what I want to accomplish. Now, Steve originally said, we can do 50 to 100 people and everything. I said, no. He said, well, what are we looking at trying to do? I said, originally what I want to do, or in the beginning, what I want us to set up to do is 1,000 people every 90 days. Now that seems unbelievable, doesn't it? If you don't set your sights at somewhere up here, you're not going to ever accomplish anything. The net of the whole thing is just this. You have to train these people to do something that they can genuinely do. You can't train somebody how to, I said before, how to drive a 777 rock truck when they're trained on pickup. You can't teach anybody to be an industrial welder if all they're doing is tack welding something, and it won't work. And then when they go to get a job, they can't get a job. And when they go to present a certificate, it means nothing. Now, we need to know that we have just as much of a problem with addiction in this state with the females as we do with the males. And so we want to have job opportunity and the training directed toward the females as well as the males. And so this is going to be a major project. I'm just asking just this, and this is all I'm asking, is, and I want to touch on this just 1 second too. This is a, and so please, United Healthcare, just give me my time here, just 1 second. The easiest way for you to be able to understand our budget today is just think of it this way. Think of it as two completely separate buckets. Because there's a lot of thought that goes around. It was too difficult to try to explain last night because it would have gone on forever. And it went long enough the way it was. But if you think of the two buckets, just think of it just like this. Thus far, in this year, in 6 months' time, we have accumulated the largest surplus in history. We've been through that. What is that surplus? Well, that surplus is $185 million. That does not really count the $58 million that we have available to us on top of that. So you throw that in your $243 million of surplus, well, the 58's already been allocated, but it's money that's sitting there. So if you can just think that for a second, and I'm not going to go through every one, but in that bucket right there, we're going to extract out the $105 million and then other monies that are PEI. In that bucket, that's money that we know we've got. We know we've got that money. And just imagine, we know for a fact, forget the $58 million, we know for a fact we've got a $185 million surplus today. We know that. You know, I am raising the revenue for the 18-19 year, $142 million. Now, we're doing it. Now, are you with me thus far? I mean, you can't just sit there like I'm just resolving. You got to shake your head that you're with me. Okay? I'm raising the revenue $142 million, but in addition to that, there's 58 more there that we really have. Okay, so there's really $200 million that's money that's sitting over here that's real money. We've already collected it. We got money. We got that in our hands. And what we're going to do out of that is we're going to fund the PEI rainy day fund. We're going to do other things like $5 million on communities and schools and other things that are in that over here that we're going to do. In that is where I want to dedicate $20 million out of that money in order, and it goes into Jim's dream to buy the equipment to give to Dr. Payne at all these places and upgrade it like crazy to where his people will have real live equipment to train people on how to do something. That is not going to affect one single dime of us going forward because it's money we already got. Okay, everybody with me after that? Now on the other side, you've got things like the teacher's pay raise or the 5% pay raise for all the employees. You've got things over on the other side like $2 million of ongoing money for communities and schools or things like that. They're on the other side of it. So all the stuff that you've maybe been skeptical of or worried about and saying, well, how are we going to pay for all this stuff? How in the world can we possibly pay for all this stuff? Well, now let's go to this side. And just imagine just this, and then this is as deep as I'm going to get on this, okay? Imagine just this, that this side, how much is the budget inflated? How much is the budget inflated over last year to get to this side? And you'd be amazed. And I hope Dave Hardy's here and everything. You know, but Dave, you come on up here because you may be able to help a little bit with this. But the other side is inflated. Probably, it's either between 1.72 and 2.03% of what it was the year before. In other words, this side over here, that is an ongoing obligation that you may have, has increased less than the rate of inflation. Half or less than half of what our economic growth is. It is so conservative, it's unbelievable. And it's rock solid as it can be. And so from the standpoint of when you put the two together, every bit of what we're talking about is absolutely attainable. Everything's attainable as to what we put on the table. You know, so maybe that better explains it, you know, and I'll let y'all ask Dave a question or two in a minute, Now let me jump back to United Health. The reason I went through all that on about both sides is just this, is, well, where's the 20 million on Jim's dream really coming from? It's coming from this side over here. It's coming from the money we already have. And it's a one-time deal. A one-time deal. You know, we put $10 million to come from DHHR. It's over here on this side. You know, and everything for treatment and ongoing treatment. And we put $10 million going to Steve Payne. It's over here on this side to teach and to replace equipment over here and maintain equipment over here and do all the stuff that he has to do. Now, at the end of the day, I know it's money because it's $20 million that's over here. I know it's money. But for God's sakes, 11, what do we toast away every day on this ongoing terrible drug epidemic? And all I ask of you is just this. You know, it's high time that somebody says to somebody, you know, I'll tell you that dadgum Justice is, you know, really and truly, he wins a lot of games. I mean, that's all there is to it. And he knows when the crap he's doing. I mean, you just think about this just a second. You know, I mean, I'm supposedly the so-called only billionaire in the state of West Virginia, and I get beat on about that all day long, every day. I started out without indoor plumbing. You know, for God's sakes, 11, I've got a little bit of wisdom. And I want to tell you, if you'll give me the ball on this drug situation, I'll make a difference. I'll really make a difference. You know, and that's why I say to you, for $10 million to DHHR and $10 million to Steve Payne for maintenance and teaching and all that kind of stuff, cheap, cheap, cheap price tag to try to get us out of this situation that's eating us alive. So, you know, the last thing I'd say to that is, I don't care whether it's treatment facilities or it's, you know, community colleges or tech schools, or I don't care who it is. You know, the bottom line of the whole thing is, we ain't getting it done. We ain't getting it done. I mean, it's still eating us alive. You know, you got to run a different play. And that's why I'm saying, you know, I've got a play on the table, and I hope to goodness I'm going to get the chance to run it. Now, I'm going to read a little bit to you. I'm happy to be here today with the folks from United Healthcare and Recovery Point. Recovery Point's doing great stuff. United Healthcare is on their way to do great, great, great stuff in this state, and we're really, really proud to have them. You know, I've been through all the stuff, you know, in regard to everything, but today, United Healthcare and Recovery Point are working together. They're both partners to our great state, and we should absolutely commend them in every way. Now, they've come up with this. They're going to donate 10,000 of these bags. And what I think they can do is you insert opioids in these bags, and instead of just throwing them in a trash can and somebody, you know, grabbing a hold of something that you just throw in a bag, and then all of a sudden the next thing you've got is the next big problem, whether it be an overdose or whether it be whatever it may be. But when you put these little doobies in this, there's something that happens in here, and I don't know if it's a magic trick or whatever it happens, but nevertheless, there's some kind of chemical or whatever in here, and it turns it into a frog or something. I don't know what it is. It turns it into something that won't work like it was working on the negative towards, you know, for us. And so at this point in time, if somebody else could talk and tell us a little bit about it, go to it.
Well, thank you so much, Governor Justice. It is a real privilege to be here with you, Governor, and I do want to thank you for your leadership on this issue. As a West Virginian, born and raised in Greenbrier County, T-Berry Road, here in Charleston now for most of my adult life, West Virginia is special to me. I have, and I bet most of you in here have, known someone, family, a neighbor, in the church, somewhere where you work, that's been affected by addiction. Whether it's opioids or other addictions, you know someone. It's prevalent, unfortunately. Here at United Healthcare, we are investing in these communities where we live, where I live, where our employees live, because we believe that we want to help our employees live in a better community, want the communities that we serve in to live healthier lives. We're focused on that. That's what we are as a healthcare company. We take it very seriously. We are here today with our good partners from Recovery Point, Rachel Thaxton, Stephen Zoller, because we are partnering together for these little kids, and no, they don't turn into frogs, but it does create some magic in there, because one of these kits can handle as much as 45 opioid pills placed in that kit with some water that dissolves that opioid to the point that, to your point, it is ineffective to be used to damage the next life, to hurt the next family. And if we can take and save one family, one child, one teenager from getting mom or dad's or grandma's opioid pills, because you know what? 60% of the opioids that are dispensed are unused, and guess where they stay? In medicine cabinets, in cabinets. And curiosity killed the cat, but it's also hurting our families. So if we can take those unused opioids, give someone easy ways to dispose of them, you put the water in, you seal it back, it does puff up a little bit, that's why we said please don't squeeze it, because there's carbon in there, and that carbon deactivates it, and you just simply then have to throw that into the trash, and it's no good anymore. We desperately need to make sure that it is not the silver bullet that's going to cure everything, Governor Justice. You know, it doesn't take one thing. There's many things that we can do and partner together in. United Healthcare is working with Recovery Point. Great job, great work. Saving lives, giving people second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chances, as Rachel and I talked about. But doesn't everybody want to live healthier? Doesn't everybody want and need a second chance? Haven't we all needed a second chance? With this particular program, we're hoping that we prevent the first mistake from ever happening, because it doesn't stay in a cabinet. Dr. Kane Myers is here with me today. He is the Area Medical Director for MedExpress, and he is going to demonstrate just how easy this is. And the Recovery Point is going to have all of these kits. They're going to distribute them in the fashion that they best deem is going to serve this community best. And we're going to make this available. And to Governor Justice's point, this is our part, our small part, in helping our communities be healthier, live healthier, protect the lives of our children, our families that live here, and our employees that serve here. So Dr. Myers, if you would demonstrate for us.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. So it's a pleasure being here. As Kathy said, I'm the Area Medical Director for MedExpress in Southern West Virginia. We're a West Virginia-based company. We started here, we've grown here. We're all throughout the state. So most of us live in West Virginia, we practice in West Virginia, and we see the effects of the opioid crisis every day. So we're very interested in getting the opioids out of our communities and out of our homes. Prevention is good, treatment is good, education is good, but there's also the simple fact of getting the drugs out of people's homes, where people can't get to them. They can't have that first experience with an opioid. A child can't get an opioid and overdose on it. So these kits, it's a little bit different than putting it in coffee grounds like some people do. They do deactivate, or they dissolve the opioid, but they don't deactivate it. So the medication is still active should somebody choose to get it out of the coffee grounds. And it also prevents the toxins that can be in expired meds from going into our waterways, going into our landfills. So what this is, it's a very simple system made by doTERRA. What you're going to do to use it, you just simply tear it from the top, and it's like a Ziploc baggie. And just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to take this out. What's in here is a bag of activated carbon. This is a safe chemical. It's not toxic. If it gets in contact with your skin, your eyes, it can simply be flushed or washed off.
See, Cole's helping us again, right?
So you don't have to take that out to use the system. All you have to do is open the bag, and then you'll take your your medications that you want to dispose of. In this particular instance, we're talking about opioids, but you can actually dispose of any medicine in this bag. Antibiotics are also a common concern. You know, we flush a lot of those down the toilet. They get into waterways. They contribute to bacterial resistance, which causes problems. This bag will also inactivate those. So you'll take your prescription medicine, have pills, all you do is stick them in the bag. And then you get some water. We have bottled water here for the demonstration, but you can use any type of water. Tap water works just as well. And you're going to pour it in here, and you want to fill it about halfway. And then once you've filled it, you just simply zip lock it back tight. Now what you're going to notice is that plastic bag that the carbon was in will dissolve, and the chemical reaction will start taking place immediately. Again, it's a safe chemical reaction. It's not toxic. If you weren't to get this totally sealed and a little bit leaks out, that's okay. You can simply wash it off with water. The bag will get a little tight, and that's the chemical reaction taking place. Just a little bit of gas, and now this drug is inactivated. Then you can just simply throw it in the trash, and it's safe to go out to the landfill. Should somebody get that out of the trash, it has no abuse potential, and it's not harming individuals, harming our waterways and our land. And the bag is actually biodegradable too, so it's good for the environment.
Good stuff, and really good.
Well, thank you, Dr. Myers. You know, the disposal kits that we just demonstrated and that we warned the governor not to squeeze, those disposal kits are just, again, one small part. We are at United Healthcare launching, much like your community programs. United Healthcare is launching all across the country an opioid community program. We want to do these similar donations all across the country in communities that are being hardest hit by this particular crisis. Charleston and West Virginia is what we're doing here. Again, I just want to thank you, Governor, for your leadership. Thank you all for being here. Recovery Point, I cannot thank you enough for what you do every day to change lives for the better. Thank you all. Governor, I'll turn it back to you.
I don't know how to follow that act. You know, really and truly, that's amazing stuff. And like you said, you know, using them with antibiotics and everything else is terrific too. You can tell, you know, these people, United Healthcare, Recovery Point, they're wonderful partners. They're really, really wonderful partners, and they care. They care about all of us, and they're trying to help, and they're trying to step forward. And you know, this is just another stepping point. You know, that we need to be thankful, and we need to embrace them and show our appreciation. You know, I was sitting here thinking about this, and my wife just recently had double knee replacement surgery, and when she was in the recovery room, you know, I had talked to the doctor, and she had her surgery in the middle of September, or toward the end of September rather. And I told the doctor, I said, listen, you know, she was in recovery. I went over and saw the doctor. I said, listen, you know, we don't need to be just dinking around with my knees and everything. I've got to have this surgery, and I know I've got to have it. I mean, because you know, it's terrible and everything. And I said, let's just go ahead and do it at the end of October. And he said, you can't do it then. He said, let's do it probably sometime in the middle of November. And I said, well, I can't do it then, you know, because 2 or 3 things are on the agenda. I've got the ball season, I've got the session coming, and everything else. I won't be ready for either one of them, you know, if I had done then. He said, well, we'll do it in March. And I left there, and I was, to be perfectly honest, I was hacked. Because I thought, you know, I had this all planned on how I'm going to pull this off, and I really, if I could have done this in the end of October, everything would have worked, and now I'm going to have to go through all the winter, and I'm going to hobble around the whole winter, and I could get this out of the way. And I went back to the recovery room. And when I walked into the recovery room, Kathy was in a wake, and she looked like she was demon possessed at that time. And absolutely, I saw a look in her eyes that I had never seen before. And that woman was mad, and that woman was hurting bad. And I thought to myself, you know, March doesn't look too bad for you. You know, But I would tell you all that in that just this is, you know, I can remember, you know, she had some pain medicine. She had one pill left and everything, and didn't need to take any medicine anymore and everything. And I just went by and threw it in the commode. And then I thought, you know, if a dog would have to come by and just drink out of the commode, he wouldn't bark for like 4 days or something, you know. But nevertheless, having a safe way to dispose and a safe way to get them out of our houses and everything, and get them out of the medicine cabinets and have kids preying on us in every way. Yeah, it's good stuff. I really commend you and I really thank you. So, good day. Now,
Thank you.
so, that's all I got for you.
Thank you all for coming.
Okay, thank y'all.
Sure.
Thank you, sir.